Update. Am I the a-hole for kicking my fiancé out after joking he got me pregnant on purpose? Original post. I, 27 female, have been with my fiancé, 26 male, for 3 years. We met while I was on holiday, and a few weeks later, he followed me on Instagram and the rest is history. We got engaged last year, and a month later, I found out I was pregnant. We now have a beautiful 6-month-old. We hosted Thanksgiving this year, and my fiancé was drinking quite heavily. After dinner, my mom and I were talking about the wedding, which my parents were paying for, and I overheard my fiancé telling my brother, who was just as drunk as him, that he needed to tie me down and get me pregnant, before I realized what a D-head he was. They laughed it off, but it rubbed me the wrong way because our baby was not planned. I wasn't ready for a child, and we were using condoms. But after a few instances where a condom broke, I decided it would be safer to get on birth control. The first month on BC, I got pregnant. We were told that could happen, and he said he would pull out to be safe, but I still got pregnant. I was scared, but I personally didn't want to get an abortion. I 100% believe in the right to get one. I just didn't want one, so I decided to keep the baby. I work for my dad's company, and my fiancé works at a country club. Money wasn't the reason I didn't want a baby. I just wanted to do more before starting a family. I spoke to my fiancé about what he said, and at first, he claimed he didn't remember saying it, understandable because of how drunk he was. Then he said it was just a joke, and was meant as a compliment because I'm so amazing. So I said, okay, good, because we're getting a prenup. I was joking, but I also wanted to see his reaction. He was pissed. He said, why the heck would I sign a prenup? We have a baby together, a house together, and insisted he wouldn't sign one. He argued that we wouldn't need one because we're never separating, and claimed that even mentioning a prenup was insulting and emasculating. I didn't feel threatened, but he made me uncomfortable and he woke our baby up. So I told him to leave, which he did. The day after I kicked him out, he sent me a long, apologetic message saying it was out of character for him to get loud, which is true. He's never acted like that before. I replied, thanking him for the apology, but said I needed a day or two to think everything through. The next day, he sent a bouquet to the apartment. On Sunday, he sent me a booking confirmation for a massage at the club and offered to come over to watch our son and cook dinner. Tonight, he messaged me saying I'm being an a-hole and taking a meaningless joke to heart. He also said he's wasting money on a hotel that he could be saving for the wedding. Now, things that went over my head before are starting to seem suspicious. But breaking up my family over this doesn't feel right. Am I overthinking this or being an a-hole? Edit. A lot of people were asking for context. When I said I wanted a prenup, I wasn't being serious. Maybe I was being an a-hole trying to get a reaction, but based on our 3 years together, I never imagined he'd react the way he did. Why did the joke bother me so much? About a year ago, he lost his job. He was never clear on why, and for the next 3 to 4 months, he didn't do much. He said he was trying to figure out what he wanted to do next. That was the first time he brought up having kids, saying he was ready. I had a candid conversation with him explaining that I wanted kids, but not anytime soon. I enjoy my job, I had trips planned, and I wanted to be married first. He agreed we should wait 3 to 4 years. My dad's company got a contract at a club, which is how he got his job there. But during the time he was out of work, my friends joked that he was a stay-at-home boyfriend, and that I was the provider and he'd be a stay-at-home dad. At the time, it didn't bother me. I used to live there by myself before we got together, so it wasn't a big deal. But I guess it was my friends' jokes that first made me question things. About the condoms breaking, I don't know how long they're breaking. A lot of people are saying they've never had that happen. The first time I noticed, it looked like it had split. Then I checked the next time and it was also broken, which is when I decided to get an IUD. He didn't want me to get one, but I stood my ground, and we compromised by having me go on a pill. I know we should have continued using rubbers, but he said he'd run out and insisted I didn't need them because I was on a pill. In hindsight, I should have insisted we still use them, but I chose not to have that battle. I thought we'd be okay. He knew my opinion on abortion and that I wouldn't get one unless it was for a medical reason. Money-wise, my family is successful. I work for my dad's company and I have 2 trust funds, one of which I got at 18. Before I got pregnant, I was planning to start my own house flipping business, but I decided to put that on hold. I still work from home with flexible hours, but he said that once we're married, he wants me to stop working to focus on our kids and that he'll support us. I've never liked that idea. My parents always taught me the importance of financial stability, and my mom always said to never be financially dependent on anyone. Plus, I'm not sure my fiancé's current salary would cover all our expenses. The only reason I haven't told my dad is because they have a good relationship, and I don't want to blow everything up over what might be an overreaction on my part. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. He is love bombing you. Make a prenup mandatory along with anger management and couples therapy if you choose to stay with him. Don't add him to any documents. What is yours is yours. Create the trust for your child's inheritance and appoint someone other than him to be in charge of it. Talk to your dad and see what he says. Love bombing and then throws a tantrum when it doesn't work the way he wants. Great advice to protect yourself and your child. If he's going to be with you forever, then what does a prenup matter? I agree with other commenters. Seriously pursuing a prenup, which you 1000% should do anyway, will reveal how much of a joke your ties together really are. Prenups protect both parties. When you talk, I think you should ask him what his real serious issue is with a prenup, especially since it would also protect his assets in case of separation. If you're never going to separate, then why would having one even make a difference to him? He should feel so confident in his ability to love you and make this relationship last that some hypothetical future where you aren't together shouldn't even be a concern. Not the a-hole, and you're not overthinking. The time to talk about finances and your future together is now, not after the wedding. Not the a-hole. It's not about the joke. It's about how it made you feel. His reaction and dismissal of your feelings were concerning. You have every right to take a step back and think things through. Now for the update. I-23 female made a post last week about a joke my fiancé 26 male made at Thanksgiving while drunk. For those who haven't seen my older post, he joked that he got me pregnant to tie me down, and I didn't know what to make of it, so I posted here to get outside opinions. I initially didn't want to talk to my friends or family about it, because they're all quite close to him and I didn't want to make a mountain of a molehill and cause a rift in their relationships. Yesterday, we had a conversation about where I was at. He said he couldn't go back to the hotel because they kicked him out for smoking in the room. He had stopped smoking while I was pregnant but said I was stressing him out. He insisted he had to stay at the apartment. While I was on the phone with one of my friends in the bedroom, he came in, took the phone from me, and told me to come eat. While we were eating, he said he understood what I had said and that things needed to change for us to move forward. He then proceeded to list all the things I needed to do to make things better. His tone throughout the conversation made me uneasy. I texted my dad, saying he was making me uncomfortable when my fiancé wasn't looking. I went to check on the baby, and when I came back, I saw him take my keys out of my purse but didn't say anything. He took my silence as agreement to everything he said and went to bed instead of the couch as we had agreed, like everything was normal. I stayed in the living room and my dad, bless him, drove 6 hours to come get us. My dad arrived at the apartment around 5 a.m. while my fiancé was still sleeping, and we left. My son and I are now at my parents' house. My fiancé has been blowing up my phone since this morning. I sent him a text as we were driving off, saying he wasn't respecting the fact that I needed space and time to figure everything out. I told him he could stay in the apartment and I'd stay at my parents' house. We haven't officially broken up or called the wedding off. My parents, who have paid for the wedding, have said they don't care if I want to cancel it, but I feel bad. I just want to say thank you to everyone who replied to my original post and messaged me privately. I didn't think people would care about me. I feel like every option I have is bad. The thought of being a single mom is scary. If my fiancé's behavior gets worse, that would be awful. If we cancel the wedding and cost my parents thousands of dollars, I'll feel guilty. And if we break up altogether, we just got a house together. We're both on the mortgage, and we have joint accounts. Being without him for good is also scary. He sounds crazy, and not the type of person you'd want to spend your life with. Not the a-hole. What he said was really insensitive. Getting a woman pregnant on purpose, especially when it's not planned and you made it clear you didn't want that, is a serious matter. I believe you should seek legal advice. Though I'm no expert, you're not the a-hole. You did the right thing. Warm hugs to you. I hope you figure it out. It wasn't a joke. It's what he actually did. He just accidentally said it out loud too early because he thought he had her locked down. Your dad is freaking awesome. He really is. The fact that he jumped in the car immediately to drive 6 hours also shows how much of a douche your fiancé is perceived to be by others. Your dad was probably thinking, finally, the rose-colored glasses have fallen. OP, stay gone. This guy's bad news. He got you pregnant, laid down the law, and hid your car keys. Don't feel bad about your parents losing money over the wedding. From what you've told us about his latest stunt and your friends' commentary about him, trust us, they are pleased as punch that he finally revealed himself to you in terms you can't ignore. I'm guessing you've been biting their tongues, but despite their concerns, chose to respect and support your choices. The money is insignificant compared to the emotional and psychological price you would have paid by staying in this abusive relationship. They said they didn't like how we were getting so serious so fast, or how he moved into my apartment. But then I got pregnant and they didn't want to seem unsupportive. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my daughter's grandparents take her this Christmas? I, 30 female, am the single mother of Clara, 2 female. My pregnancy wasn't planned. I had a no-strings-attached relationship with her father Jack, 30s male, for 7 months when I became unexpectedly pregnant. He lived in another state but visited my city monthly for business, and we hit it off after meeting in a bar. We considered our options regarding the pregnancy, but I decided to keep the baby. Jack wanted to be part of her life, so we planned to raise her together as co-parents, not as a couple. Unfortunately, Jack passed away during my pregnancy. Jack's parents, Linda and James, knew I was pregnant when he passed. We had already done a prenatal paternity test at the time. We are all devastated by his passing, but his parents, understandably, were destroyed. Clara's their first and only grandchild, and they say she became their beacon of light in a dark time. Jack's parents have 2 other daughters, Ruth, 37 female, and Lily, 27 female. Ruth has been trying to conceive for a long time, and Lily's child-free and single. Jack's entire family lives in another state with the exception of Lily, who lives abroad. They have a family business and strong ties to their hometown, while I have my family and career in my current city where I live with Clara. Since Clara was born, we've had an informal visitation agreement. They usually visit Clara twice a month, with James and Linda being the most frequent visitors, and Ruth occasionally joining them. I genuinely appreciate their presence in Clara's life. A recurring point of contention has been traveling to their state. They have a large family property that has been in their family for over 100 years, and they wanted Clara to experience her heritage. While I understand the importance of this, I have always firmly refused to allow them to travel with Clara without me. I have visited their hometown 3 times with Clara since she was born, but apparently this isn't enough. While our relationship was mostly civil, there were issues with Linda meddling in my parenting. Things became more tense after I started dating Ted, 34 male, a year ago. Ted and I don't live together, but he has a daughter, Marie, 4 female, who lives with him. Linda has expressed disapproval of Ted's constant presence in my house, which is untrue. We see each other 3 to 4 times a week due to our busy schedules. She's also commented on Marie's playdates and sleepovers with Clara, as well as even trivial things like Ted's car parked in front of my house. 2 weeks ago, I emailed Linda, James, and Ruth to invite them for Christmas Eve. Ted and I are hosting a get-together with our families and close friends. I let them know they could also take Clara for lunch on Christmas Day if they preferred. The next day, Linda texted me to say they already had plans to take Clara to their home for Christmas. I told her that was not happening. I didn't hear from her for 2 days. until she called and said she gave me time to cool off and be reasonable. She claimed they had waited long enough to take Clara home for Christmas, and that now that Clara's older, she can travel without me. I told her that wasn't something we had discussed, and that I wouldn't allow them to take my daughter on a trip without talking to me first. Linda argued that this call was discussion. I laughed and told her she was delusional. Things escalated quickly. She accused me of trying to replace Jack in Clara's life, and I said some harsh things about Jack never having met Clara. After Linda hung up, James called to reason with me. He let it slip that they had purchased Clara's plane ticket 2 months ago without asking me. I told him there was no way and let them walk all over me. James lost his temper and demanded I apologize to Linda or they would take me to court. I told him they were the ones choosing to fight, not me. After some silence from them, I was served with court papers. They're suing me for custody of Clara, claiming I am unfit as a mother. I already have a lawyer who has assured me they have almost no chance of getting custody. At most, they might get visitation rights. Still, I'm worried about this turning into a long legal battle. Some clarifications. 1. How do Linda and James know details about my life? They visit at least twice a month. They pick up and drop off Clara at my house, which is how Linda noticed Ted's car parked in my driveway. She commented on it because, in my gated community, only homeowners are allowed to park there. They also used to FaceTime Clara 3 times a week, during which they saw Marie during playdates or sleepovers. 2. Did they expect Clara to travel alone? No. James said they planned to fly to my city, take Clara with them, and bring her back after a week. Clara was never meant to travel alone. 3. Do I think they would kidnap her? I don't know. Their behavior has made me paranoid. James claimed they bought her return ticket, but I don't trust their word anymore without proof. 4. Do I still have contact with them? No. My lawyer advised me to cut all visits and video calls and communicate only through lawyers. If they text or email me, I forward it to my lawyer. Thank you for your advice and support. Clara and I lived in a very secure community with cameras and armed security. Nobody will take her from me. Now for the top comments. Absolutely not the a-hole. Clara's your child. The idea of a 2-year-old traveling without her mother is asinine. You were very kind to encourage their relationship with your daughter. However, they are taking things way too far. They will not get custody. Do not allow them any contact with Clara. They may try to take her. They've made their intentions clear. Any further communication with them will be twisted and used against you. Congratulations on your new relationship. You deserve happiness and peace. Thank you for validating my feelings. Just as a heads up, I would bet money they'll call a false CPS case on you. Talk to your lawyer about the possibility and what you can do to be proactive before it starts. Not the a-hole. They bought plane tickets 2 months ago without asking you? That's not planning ahead. That's delusional. You are Clara's mom, not some vacation rental they can book on Airbnb. Exactly. That's what ticked me off the most. Who does that with someone else's child? They act like Clara's their child, not mine.